Good evening and welcome to PRM 689, Project Capstone. What we are going to talk about today is week 1. It's the first section of the final project deliverable that you'll be working on, and it's the section on project environment and needs analysis. Remember that your final project deliverable is actually a case study. You're going to share the story of a project and tell us all about it from the beginning until the end. Well, this week we're going to talk about the beginning. Remember that you're going to be building 2 parts for this section. You're going to be building a narrative that talks about what did you do, why did you do it that way, what resources did you use, and then you're going to be building a second part, which is the documentation that support that, which might be graphs or charts or project documents. So let's talk about the first week. Let's start at the beginning of the project. For the project environment and needs analysis, there are really 4 sections that you need to work on. An overview of the organization, because all projects are part of an existing organization. An analysis of the issues that cause the need for the project, options that were available to address the issue or opportunity, and the actual project that you suggest that you're going to talk about going forward. If I were going to use an analogy to describe where we are, we have a pregnancy, but we don't have a baby. We have a bump, but we don't have a birth yet, because we know that there will be a project, but not so far. We can't see exactly what it's going to be until we get to the project charter, and that's not now, that's next week. So let's start with the organization overview. You're going to talk about the organization and the project scenario. This is really about the history of what was behind your project. What is the organization like? What kind of structure? Is this a weak matrix, a strong matrix? Is this projectized? What pertinent information should we know when learning more about this organization? So the narrative describing an organization and all of these things might be pretty easy, but how does it work when you're actually looking for some documents to illustrate it? Perhaps you could put in an org chart that shows the project structure, that weak matrix structure, and how it's organized. Perhaps it could be some other part of the organization that's important. Moving on, it's time to talk about issues. Give us a detailed description of the issue or opportunity that you are facing or that you faced with this organization. And look at research to say why you feel this is an issue or opportunity. For example, if you're in a nonprofit and you're doing a youth conference, what are some of the things that the research says about the need for youth conferences? Make sure that you cite your sources accurately, both in text and on the reference page, but really go into that issue in some depth. And remember that an issue is not a solution. An issue is a problem without one single defined solution. Aha! And we don't have just one option. We have usually 3 or more. And these are different ideas, different ways that you would address the issue or opportunity. And also, how did the organization decide between these different options or opportunities? So for example, in the youth conference example, did they also consider doing a focused youth program? Did they consider doing high school completion classes for students? Did they consider college scholarships? as opposed to a youth conference, what are some of the specific alternatives that were available to address the issue that this organization was trying to resolve? It's possible if your issue was a little bit more structured, you were within an organization and your issue is that you have an outdated software program that's causing a lot of productivity losses. Your alternatives may be to buy an existing software program, or it may be to develop a new software program in-house, or it may be to sell off the part of the business that is causing so many hassles so that you don't need any new software. There are always options, and think of options as do nothing, do something, or do something else. And finally, explain which one of those 3 or more options you are going to be suggesting as the chosen option to address. So based on the financial analysis that you did, based on perhaps a weighted criteria methodology, explain why this particular project was chosen and how the organization knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was the best option to resolve this issue. This is not a project charter. This is choosing one of the options. So that's your week 1 assignment. You will be posting to the discussion board first a draft of those 4 sections of this one big section you're writing, and you will be providing feedback to your peers, and then at the end of the week you'll be submitting your final draft or final version to the instructor. That's it. Have a great week, and let me know what you have for questions.